I marched with you. I followed you. I did a lot of things. I voted for this president, President Obama as well. But a lot of the things you're typically doing is actually deceiving the people. You're crossing the two. Social Security has nothing to do with this debt that we're talking about.
No, Social Security has nothing to do with the deficit.
It has nothing to do with raising the deficit. It's not going to harm people's Social Security. But you just told a caller just not too long ago that you kind of entwined it, make it seem like it did.
No, what I said was, slow down. What I said was, and what the president has said, and the Congress has said, is that if they default, that the president may not have the money to cover everything in the budget. At that point, they will decide what they're going to pay. And that's up to that decision whether they're going to pay this, that, or the other, which includes Social Security. That does not mean money is not in Social Security. It means that when they have the options of, or when their options are, we've got to make a payment, they can decide, I'm not paying this, I'm paying that. That's what I said. And that's what the president said. And that's a fact. That does not mean, nor did anyone say, that Social Security caused the deficit. We're saying the choices they're going to make if they're in default.
But you got to clear. You're not clarifying that. Because, you know,
that's exactly what I said, sir.
It's $14 trillion in debt as far as the military and the wars, with $52 trillion in debt as far as the assistance program. Those are two separate things.
That has not one iota to do with what I just said or what I said before. I said if they default, they decide on what they're going to pay based on what they have. You talking apples, I'm talking oranges.
But should he have been made these decisions?
Now you're talking about something different. Okay, you get on the radio,
okay, here we go,
distort what I said and said that we misleading people. You're misleading people. What I said was that if they default, that they then have to choose what they're going to pay. Is that true or not?
How is it that he takes
I asked you a question. I asked you a question. I'm going to ask you one more time, and I'm going to the next call. Is that true or not?
Well, you entwine them, too.
I'm not implying nothing. I'm asking you a question. If they default, will they not have to choose what bills they're going to pay based on what reserve they have? Is that true or not?
He presented his plan. 92.
So you trying to double talk. I answered you straight. Answer me straight. Is that true or not?
Some of what you're saying is true. Some of what you're saying is false.
What is not true? What is not true, sir? What is not true? What is not true? If they default, then if they default, then they don't have to choose what they're gonna pay.
Bottom line, he cannot take from Social Security because that money does not come out of Social Security. Let's address it that way. He cannot take out of because if that money comes out of the taxpayers' money for them to put aside. That money is set aside in a lockbox to be and for them to have at the time of their retirement or things of that nature. That has nothing to do with that unless he. And
it comes out of the lockbox, sir. Do you know what you're talking about? It comes out of the lockbox into the federal government to pay its bills on a monthly basis. That's like saying if I have some money that is in a different account that funnels into my regular account to pay my bills, of course it doesn't mean you deal with the lockbox, but it means when it comes out, that money becomes in my general account that pays my bills, and I may decide to pay my phone bill rather than my gas bill.
Yeah, that means you'll be stealing from one end to your pot and putting it in the next pot. That's basically what you'll be doing, stealing unless the money is not there, unless the money already been spent.
The money, first of all, that's the whole point we're saying, which is why we're saying that Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid should not be touched. That is exactly what we've been saying. But he is saying is that if they are in default, he has to choose what they're going to pay based on what is in the reserve. How many times I got to tell you the same thing?
But the problem is, he should have already made those decisions. If we take in $200 billion a month and he spends,
he should have made what decisions if we're in default? If we're in default,
people know the truth. Around that, the people know the truth.
You're lying. You're lying. That is not the truth. The money that comes in, sir, you're lying. Let's be clear. Let me be real clear. What you're saying is a lie because default has nothing to do with what you're talking about. If they're in default, they're in default. You're talking like we're saying that everything is normal and level. We're talking about if they default next Tuesday, if that becomes the hard date.
All of our prices that we pay in these stores, prices are going to go up if we go up the debt ceiling. The prices are already up. It's going to double the prices. If not,
what does that got to do with what we're talking about?
You got to tell them the repercussion and the consequences of raising this debt. You're not telling them that,
sir.
You're not telling them that.
Every time somebody answers a point, you go to somebody. Now you talk about the prices double. We were talking about how you pay the government bills.
You know that. You're going to cut me off. I got to say what I got to say.
No, your problem is I haven't cut you off. I'm letting everybody understand you don't know what you're talking about. You wanted me to cut you off. I'm letting you talk so people understand that you're just running a lot of rhetoric and don't know what you're talking about.